Hello, my name is Jack Mormon. I'm your Health and Safety Manager, and I want to talk to you today about Lee and Ryan's Health and Safety Management Plan. We always wonder who's in charge of safety, what do we do in case we have an emergency, and is there a certain contact we can call? Well, what's nice with this Health and Safety Management Plan is it lets you know exactly who's in charge of what. So whoever's leading this training today, if you have a copy of the plan, please have it available so anybody can take a look at it, and let's get started. In a health and safety management system, we have to let people know exactly what management's programs are, what our policies are. So in the health and safety management plan, on page V of the booklet, you'll see what the health and safety management policy is. This is management's commitment to keeping this a safe workplace. It also has the environmental policy, because not only do we want to keep ourselves safe, but we want to keep the planet safe. In section 1, we're going to be talking about responsibilities. If you read through this program, you'll see exactly who's responsible for what, and that goes for management, all the way from VP of Construction to Health and Safety Manager, me, and any of the site supervision, site superintendents, what their responsibilities are, and what all employees are responsible for. Remember, you're responsible for your own safety. Management's responsibility is to write a policy, look over OSHA, all kinds of different trends, anything that comes from you folks. When you identify a hazard, you let us know. We can sit there and write a policy, investigate it, and then send this to the site, let everybody know what's going on. The supervisors will then help to enforce those policies, making sure you have a safe place right where you're working. And then all employees, you have to make sure you follow those policies, because nobody wants to go home at the end of the day hurt. In section 2, what we're going to be talking about is site and divisional programs. We have company programs, which everybody should be following, but each site has its own individualities. It's going to be different in Chicago, it's going to be different in Atlanta, or any of the other programs that we wind up going and working at. So each site should have their own safety committee. Safety committee can be as big as 10 people, it can be as small as 2 people. All we want to do is we want to make sure that we meet on a regular basis, go over any of the safety occupational communication reports, the SOCR forms, any kind of issues that are related to safety, write them down, speak about them, and if we can find a way to take care of them at the site, that's the best way to take care of it. That information, along with any other information that can't be taken care of at the site, or it's greater than can be handled there, can then be sent up to me at the safety department, and what we'll have is a program safety committee. Program safety committee made up of folks here in Indianapolis and leadership at each of the individual sites. And what we'll do is we'll go over any kind of programs that come up, any kind of problems, anything that's new that we'd like to see rolled out to the different sites. Basic safety committee information. Then you also have safety materials under EM 385. That's the Corps of Engineers safety program. They want to see a dedicated area for safety material. That's going to be your OSHA log that's posted from February through April. It's going to have any kind of safety information that's specific to that site. We also want to put up any of the corrected SOCR forms. We also want to put up any of our AHA or JHAs. That way if or anybody comes on site, they can look and see that we have all this information. Makes it a lot easier for us. And a copy of this health and safety management plan should be on there.
It's not too late to whip it into shape. Shape it up.
Section 3, reporting job injuries. Anytime we have an injury, we have to report it. whether we think it's small, large, or whatever. Reason is, if something happens to you and you think, okay, it's just a small injury, small cut, we got a puncture in our hand from a splinter, whatever, we have to know about it as soon as possible. The easiest way to think about it, if you have to go to the first aid kit and get a Band-Aid, or you get a strain enough that you have to stop for a few minutes to catch your breath, that's something that we want to know about. So that's about the slightest injury that you'd have to report. Site reporting, what we're going to do is the supervisor is going to find out about it, get as much information as we can. We're going to do pictures of the area, find out what's going on, and correct the issue so nobody else gets hurt. And then we're going to have verification of statements. All this means is everything's going to be done professionally. We want to make sure it's consistent, professional when we have any kind of medical attention, because you deserve it. In Section 4, I want to talk about safety meetings. Talked a little bit about it earlier as far as the Site Safety Committee and the Program Safety Committee. What I want to talk about in Section 4, if you read through it, it's really good. You can use it for more than just health and safety meetings. You can use it for any kind of meeting. It's laid out to writing up what the purpose is. It's for open communications. We all want to get our information out to folks, whether it's training, whether it's any kind of plans. What we want to do is want to make sure that, remember to set them up. When you set up a meeting, make sure it's regularly scheduled. That way everybody who wants to be at this meeting is all set up for it. You also want to make sure that you have an agenda for the meeting. What we mean by that is everybody who comes to the meeting, send it out ahead of time so when they sit down to the meeting, they know exactly what's coming up next. Keeps you on time, on course in the meeting. If something comes up that's not on the agenda, put it at the very end. If it's something that's not directly related, put it at the end, and if you can get to it, you can get to it at the end of the meeting, or it can be moved to the next meeting. This is a pretty good sized section inside the program. Go ahead and take a read through it, and it'll help you with a lot more than just safety meetings. Okay, the next section is Section 5, Accident Prevention. This is the largest section in our health and safety plan. The reason is, why do we have to have safety? Accident prevention. So what we did is, this is written pretty in depth, gets you down to exactly what we need to do and how to help prevent any kind of accidents from happening in the first place. Remember, all accidents are preventable. Now, the biggest problem we have is unsafe acts. Now, there's unsafe acts, unsafe conditions. They cause all injuries, right? The only thing is, unsafe acts, and a lot of your unsafe conditions are an unsafe act if you think about it. A lot of times we say, oh, there was, the person was injured because they tripped over something that was laying on the floor. That's an unsafe condition. Well, if you go back, there was actually an unsafe act that took place. Somebody who was in charge of that material that was on the floor didn't pick it up, didn't put it away. Somebody wasn't aware that it was there, or somebody who was aware didn't take action. So there are very few conditions, and most of your conditions can be taken care of if you're thinking proactively when it comes to safety, being aware. Unsafe conditions should be identified immediately. If you do see something, if you can handle it, take care of it immediately. Now, if it's something that's a 2x4 laying on the floor, or trash laying on the floor, something that could cause an injury, don't look at it and say, well, it's not my job, I didn't leave it there, or whatever. Do the right thing. Go ahead, pick it up, put it out of the way. Now, that's something you can put on your soccer report, saying, I saw something on the floor, I had to pick it up. That way the supervisor can then recognize that we do have some issues as far as housekeeping of sites. But all unsafe conditions should be taken care of immediately. There are some stages that come into accident prevention. There's engineering and administration. Now, engineering, of course, is the best. what you want to do with engineering, if you can buy a piece of equipment that reduces the hazard, go ahead and seek those out. If there's a chemical that isn't as hazardous as some of the chemicals you use, let's go ahead and try those. If you buy a piece of equipment, buy a tool, and it has a safety guard on it, and you have to disable the safety guard or you have to pull it up out of the way because it doesn't work. Okay, think of a saw. You get a chop saw. The piece of material you're going to be working with doesn't really work right with the guard that's on there. So we grab the chop saw, we pull the top back, and we go at it. Well, now you're defeating the safety device, and you could get hurt. Here's a little secret. When you buy a saw out in the store, they're going to give you just a basic safety guard. There are different applications that would just cost too much to put out, so many different saws with so many different covers. If you get a hold of a piece of material and the saw doesn't work, no matter what you try, you're going to have to bypass it, give me a call. What I can do then is we can get a hold of the manufacturer, tell them what we're actually doing, and most likely they will have a machine guard that you can put on there. It be designed for that piece of material. It'll keep you safe. It's just they want you to contact them in those cases. Now, there are some cases where you can't take care of engineering things out, and that's when you get into the administrative side. We still have to work with equipment, but what we want to do is we want to train people. So if you get into a situation where you've never had to work on this piece of equipment before, or it's a job you've never done before, don't worry about bringing it to the supervisor, letting them know that you've never done this. It's better to find out that you don't know it and get the training before you go in and try and figure it out, and then we get into trouble. Safety glasses. Anywhere we're working out there, we need to have our safety glasses, right? Now, there's two situations with the safety glasses. One, if you're working outside, you can have the gray tinted safety glasses. There's no problem. But if you're going to be working at night or you're going to be working indoors, you aren't allowed to have the tinted safety glasses. You're going to have a set of clear with you. There are different safety glasses that work for both inside and outside. Now, as a company, remember we said we have to be in charge of managing, keeping you folks safe. We'll provide you with the safety glasses if you need it. We'll provide you with hard hats if you're going to be working in an area where something could fall on your head, where you could bump your head. We're going to provide you with that. Now, if you're going to be working inside of an area where something may not hit you in the head, you don't have to worry about the hard hats. One situation may be you're working in inside, all you're doing is painting in the room, there's nothing else in the room other than you painting. You don't have to have a hard hat. Now what you have to do is you have to remember that we will provide you with that gear. If you want to bring something in to from home, you want to bring your own personal protective equipment, you like your own safety glasses that you bought out in town, before you can use them on site, you have to bring them to your supervisor. Your supervisor has to look them over, has to make sure that they do meet the standards. And inside of our different plans, it'll let you know exactly what those standards are.
It's true.